Greetings and welcome. Thank you for coming. Before we begin, let me take a few moments to give you the obligatory like this video, comment on this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and more importantly, share this video with a friend, your mayor, your congressman, or the FBI agents constantly reading over your shoulder. Let's try and get this channel to 1,000 subscribers before Christmas. While you're at it, be sure to check out my Patreon channel. Consider becoming a subscriber and help keep my editor energized with burgers and fries. Seriously, editors are a large part of what makes the world go round in this business. Give them some love, please. The link is in the video description and in the page description on both YouTube and Rumble. And lastly, a quick shout out to my Tier 3 and 4 patrons. Russ of the Frozen North, Neo5AC, Nick, Zachary Langmead, Scared Wolf 1206, and Zachery Raney. Thank you very much. And now, on with the story. The Deathworlders, a story by Philip R. Johnson, a.k.a. Hambone, Hambone HFY, and Hambone 3110. Chapter 24, An Alien World, Part 10. Date point, 10 years, 4 months, 6 days AV. Mrwrki Station, Uncharted System, Deep Space. Louis Bevarote.
Now that, Kirk declared, looks impressive.
Louis patted his chassis happily. That it does, man. Too bad it doesn't work.
Congratulations.
Yeah, now I understand some of that footage you managed to get from Capital Station, Louis laughed. How did you get that anyways?
It was not difficult. Most of it was human propaganda footage, put out by your own government. It was meant to be seen.
Louis considered the implications of that. No shit?
No shit indeed, Kirk agreed. I managed to secure some of the station's security footage through a contact, too.
Must be a fucking talented contact.
She is, yes. So, what is this?
Louis considered it. It was meant to be power armor, he said.
You don't say, Kirk asked.
It was hard to see what else a humanoid metallic frame layered in armor plates and technology could be.
You mean it is not a novelty pizza oven?
Louis grumbled something and pushed the suit over by its forehead. It shook the deck as it crashed down, and Kirk took a dainty step back to keep his feet out of the way of the components that skittered across the floor. Probably better at that than being a working suit of armor, that's for damn sure.
What were the problems? Kirk asked, stooping to pick up the suit's helmet and examine it.
Problem 1? Turns out the human body's fucking strong anyways.
You don't say,
Kirk repeated, setting down the helmet again and folding his arms.
Fancy that.
Ah, shut up. I mean that even non-human tech actuators and stuff can't match us for all three of precision, speed, and power. It's laggy. Problem 2, power storage and generation. Needs a lot of both. The more I put on, the bigger and heavier the suit needed to be, which meant it needed to be more of both, and so on.
Both of those sound like surmountable challenges with time, Kirk opined.
Yeah, but then we run into the problem of mass, Louis gritted his teeth. See what I'm making here? If it's a suit of armor designed for a man to wear, and the man needs to be the one doing the actual moving around, right? The suit can assist him all it likes, but if he starts to tip over and needs to correct himself, then the difference between his mass and the suit's... Nobody's got that kind of core strength, dude. Especially not with the latency problems.
And if the suit is in control, then the human operator is more like a pilot and could in theory be replaced outright, Kirk finished for him.
You got it, Louis nodded. And it turns out that in order for the mass problem to not be there, the human operator needs to go entirely, which means I'm making a humanoid drone, which is cool, but what happens if somebody hacks the drone, like those hierarchy fucks? Hell, if I got it to work, then what happens if somebody hacks the armor?
Assuming you could harden it against being hacked, Kirk mused, could the latency problem be fixed?
Louis hissed through his teeth. I doubt it, he said finally. Because there's basically... Like, option 1, the suit responds to muscle movements. You move your arm, it senses you moving your arm, it moves its arm, right?
I follow.
Well, okay, watch this shit. Lewis took a step back and then swirled his arms vigorously in front of his face. To Kirk's eyes, they were a blur. Okay, and that's fucking slow. I'm not all that fast, dude. Now, let's say I want this thing to be fast enough that even fucking Ip Man could do this shit while wearing it. Kirk folded his legs up underneath him and sat down. This brought his eye level down to the point where he was only slightly above Lewis.
Yes?
Not fucking happening. No way, no how, nuh-uh, nope. Not if the suit's reacting to the movement after it's already begun. And that's the kind of speed it needs to move at. So, boom goes option 1. Option 2, brain scan.
Brain scan?
Yeah-huh. Shove like an EEG or some alien space magic equivalent in there. Well, what happens if there's nerve jam and the dude gets a headache or worse? What happens if he's knocked around a bit and gets kind of confused? What if he's unconscious and his buddies need to move him? Shit, what happens if the pads come unstuck or the sensor becomes misaligned? And that's assuming we can even isolate individual signals like that, which, I don't think anyone's ever going to know the human brain that well. Too many problems for my money.
And option 3?
Jarvis.
I beg your pardon?
That's how Tony Stark did it, Lewis said. Loaded an AI into the suit that figured out what he was about to want to do. Problem there. Tony Stark is fiction, man, and so are AIs like that. I may as well be talking about scribbling a fucking rune on the damn thing and casting a golem spell. You may as well try and fly a spaceship by doing a tarot reading. He snapped a finger at a couple of the servant drones, then waved a finger at the failed power arm. Recycle that.
It would not really have been much use against the hierarchy anyways, Kirk told him, as the drones flitted in and began to remove the doomed pieces of prototype. They are not a physical foe we can meet in battle.
Gotta learn how to walk before you can run, my man. This was just me proving to myself that I knew everything I needed to know to make complicated shit before I moved on to the real projects.
Your point is taken, but I am from a species that is born knowing how to gallop, Kirk pointed out. What is your real project going to be?
Don't know yet.
We have been here this long, and you have no idea?
Lewis made a semi-amused harumph and threw himself into his thinking chair. You've put a fucking huge problem in front of me, Kirk, he said. And I can sit here and absorb like biology and physics and mechanical engineering and quantum what-the-fuckery all day. But if it's all for the sake of Earth, then I need to know what Earth needs. Like, he spun the chair around and called up the Capital Station footage. Look at these motherfuckers. Where the fuck did that even come from? Human special forces in space? Wearing a functional armored EVA suit? And these dudes look like your average roid jockey's wet dream. And some shit's been going on down there on Earth, man. I don't know half of it. How am I supposed to help my people if I don't even know what they're up to? Kirk's head bobbed slowly down and then up.
I had hoped to remain out of contact a little while longer, until we were properly up and running, he confessed. But you make a compelling case, and we were buzzed last night.
Buzzed? By what?
A scout ship, long range. Our sensors did not get a very clear look at it before it warped out again, but they did narrow down the options, one of which is very worrying.
Worrying how? Kirk shook his mane, which Lewis understood as being something akin to an uncomfortable shrug. One of the possibilities was a ship that I have placed on our security watch list, he explained. It's called the Negotiable Curiosity, and it was very deliberately named. Its owner has a reputation for being able to dig up any mystery. He is tenacious. Hierarchy?
Every being is hierarchy if they have implants, Kirk pointed out. But I would be surprised if he was not out here on their orders, yes. Though I doubt if he knows of them.
That settles it then, Lewis decided. I'm phoning home.
Kirk made an amused sound through his nose. I thought I was the E.T.
Neither of us are on Earth right now, bro.
I shall turn off the outbound message locks on the FTL relay.
Kirk levered himself up onto his feet in the exchange of fist bump, and he left Lewis alone with his thoughts, which were already whirring with the letters he was going to need to write. Lewis took a deep breath and decided to do his yoga first. Always best to approach things with a clear head. Hopefully, he'd think of a better introduction than, "To whom it may concern." Date point, 10 years, 4 days, 6 months, AV. Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, Earth. Regaari. Zhu had seemed smaller than the last time Regaari had seen her. When her family admitted Ayma, Regaari, Baseball, Warhorse, and Stainless into their house, it was a stark reminder that humans were not all muscular, lean, predatory warriors. The young male was large, yes, but there was a roundness to his largeness that suggested a source other than physical conditioning and hard training. Her parents were lean, yes, but it was the leanness of increasing age and fragility. Both looked gray and tired. It took a little coaxing and calling for Zhu to finally emerge, but when she did, she picked her way downstairs as if walking to an execution rather than a reunion. It didn't help that Ayma said nothing and just stared at her. Nobody spoke. No sounds were audible except the creak of the steps and the rustle of clothing and a car accelerating down the road outside. There were times when etiquette between Gowan females became so tangled and complicated that even male Gowans, who were perhaps the best placed beings in the galaxy to have an insight into it, had trouble keeping up. A moment like that happened now. Ayma spoke first, and she used the tone of a mother about to give a scolding. "Sister?" Zhu swallowed and glanced up the stairs, perhaps considering the option to flee, but she looked back to Ayma and responded with an inflection that implied not defiance, but not submission either. A standing of her ground. Her Geori really had improved from when Regaari had first met her. "Mother?" The silence stretched out until it was vibrating, and Regaari was desperate to snap at both of them when, at once, the two females ran out of resolve and collided, gently in Zhu's case, and unreservedly in Ayma's, in a solid hug that saw both of them sink to their knees. Gowan and human body language rarely aligned so perfectly. Everyone looked away, giving them what privacy they could, and Warhorse had the presence of mind and good manners to shut down the translator. That left only Regaari able to understand what they were saying to each other, and he made a point of not listening. Eventually, Zhu exhumed her face from the fur of Ayma's shoulder and aimed a weak smile his way. "It's good to see you again, Regaari," she managed. Unable to quite summon any words, Regaari settled for ducking his head vigorously. Zhu pulled back from Ayma, gave her a curious look. Ayma nodded, and Zhu stood to give Regaari a huge but controlled hug. After a few tentative seconds, he returned it. She looked around. "Could we have some privacy, please?" While Zhu's family promptly nodded and left the room, Warhorse and Baseball were more reluctant. "This room's not been properly sanitized, miss," Burgess said. "Please, guys," Regaari turned to them. "We won't take the excursion suits off, and I trust Zhu to shout out if we need help." Both men turned to Stainless, who pursed his lips, thinking. "We're not going further than the far side of that door," he declared, pointing to it. "Deal," Zhu agreed. "Thank you." Zhu stood as they left the room, then sank down on the couch as if she was suddenly exhausted. And as soon as the door clinked shut, Ayma laid into her. "What were you thinking?" she demanded. "Me? What are you thinking right now?" Fatigue gone, Zhu shot to her feet. "I ran away to protect you, to give you the chance to get on with your lives, and this is how you repay that? You come here? Don't you know that every breath on this planet could kill you? Don't you care?" "Sisters stick together, Zhu. You know that," Ayma yipped. "No!" Zhu spun away, clawed her hair, and gathered her composure. In a much quieter voice, she carried on. "Sisters care for one another. Sisters protect one another, Ayma, and you're standing exactly where you shouldn't be because you just don't seem to understand that I don't want you to get hurt. Not for me. I'm not worth that. Triaman thought you were, Ayma pointed out. Triaman is dead. Zeus stumbled over the word. I'm not worth that. I'm not. Well, we're not dead, Ayma pointed out. And I think you are worth coming here for. Why? Zeus sat down again. I'm nobody special, Ayma. I'm just me. I wanted to be an actress. Lots of girls want to be actresses. I did ballet. I had a room full of shit that I didn't need. She spat the word in English rather than Goari. I was normal. I can't handle being anything else. Regaari laid a paw on Ayma's shoulder. Tell her. We had a cub, Ayma said, getting his drift. A female. We called her Shu. Zhu sighed and rubbed her face. I'm delighted, really I am, she said. But, I know that you don't do family the same way that humans do. I know that she smiled, little Shu will grow up in the commune just like you both did. And how is Myun anyways? Wealthy and quite happy to be a human fangirl, Regaari said. She and I have a cub too, or rather, she's expecting one. Zhu sat back, stunned. God, she's old enough to have a cub now? Her first? Indeed, Regaari duck-nodded. With you? Regaari duck-nodded again. A male, probably, if the antenatal scans are accurate. Zhu's face moved in a complicated way as she tried to smile and frown at the same time. I just don't understand you, she told them quietly. You have a cub together. She's safe on Gao, and instead of being there for her, you come to this death world. You should be with the people you care about. We are with the people we care about, Ayma keened, stepping forward and delicately taking Zhu's hand between two of her paws. Don't you see? It's not about what you're worth. It's about... She changed vocal gears, picking a word in English. Family. My family are outside. Your family, Ayma corrected her, are the people who care about you. And as your species proves, it's not a matter of genetics. Here we are, Shu. Here's your family, right here in this room. And we know you care about us too, Regaari said. You don't want us to be hurt, but we don't want you to be hurt either, and right now, it's obvious you are hurting. Zhu blinked at him, then looked away and down. She grimaced at herself and snapped her head back to blink back tears. Shu? Oh, wan quan mian gambea. Shu? Zhu sat forward and let out a long breath. Somebody came to see me a few days ago. He said things that made me so angry that I broke his nose. Ayma and Regaari inclined their ears in mutual confusion, not sure where she was going. Zhu didn't seem to notice. I know why I was so mad at him now. It's because he was right. I'm not home, am I? This really isn't my home anymore, and I've been hurting myself trying to pretend that it is. So, where is home? Gao? Ayma asked. Zhu shook her head. No, I'm sorry, Ayma. I'm so sorry for running away, but it's not. It can't be. I won't endanger Gao like that, or any other world. I won't endanger you like that. Ayma moved her head softly in agreement. I know. That's why we came here. I wanted to tell you that I forgive you for running. You were right. Very gently, Zhu sat back, took a deep breath, and let her hands fall onto her lap. Oh, I needed to hear that. So, where is home? Regaari asked her. She looked at him, opened her mouth to say something, then plainly reconsidered and lapsed into thoughtful silence, staring at some distant point far away beyond the carpet. Regaari gave her a few seconds, then verbally prodded her. Shoo? I'm not sure, Shu said, shaking herself out of whatever trance she had been in, but I think I have a good idea where to start looking. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I am the Casual Deathworlder, your host, and this has been The Deathworlders, Chapter 24, Part 10. I hope you enjoyed listening to it as much as I enjoyed bringing it to you. If you did, please go ahead and smash those like and subscribe buttons. Maybe consider dropping us a comment down below. Anything to help the algorithm. And, as always, a huge shout out to my editor, Gregor. Thank you very much, buddy. I couldn't do this without you. So, question, who's got the question? Okay? Coffee or tea? Are you a bean drinker or are you one of those insidious leaf drinkers? Leave your answers in the comments down below. Until next time, be safe, be well. I love you all. Bye-bye. It's time to do one final thing for the day. Because, well, these things need to be done. Or do they? I guess we'll see. Moving on.